In 1901, chemist Otto Gohm invented a polymethyl methacrylate alternative to glass that was lighter and more durable. It was used in the medical trade, it was used in the auto industry, and it was used in the year 2020 to help get wrestlers over like Rover during a pandemic. Time to bang on your plexiglass for dramatic effect as we break down without shattering last night's actions from the black and gold brand. This is NXT Graded. The Undisputed Era are out to start. They are in their pomp. Adam Cole is still your NXT champion. Velveteen Dream is very much in the rearview mirror. But there is something up with Roderick Strong. He hasn't taken the whole being kidnapped by Dexter Lumis thing very well. And Dexter Lumis hacking his Twitter probably didn't help things either. Roddy is all nervous in the service. He keeps thinking he sees Dexter Lumis in the crowd. You can just tell he's very jittery. Cole calms him down and says they're going to sort out the Dexter Lumis problem tonight in the main event. It's Cole versus Lumis one-on-one. And as the Era head to the back, we see Dexter Lumis in the crowd all along. Roddy wasn't wrong. To Peter get started, fine opening promo from these guys. I'm enjoying Roddy as sort of a losing his marbles type. You know, genuinely frightened by Dexter Lumis. In fact, backstage, Bobby Fish and Adam Cole are trying to calm Roderick Strong down. He's still really worked up about the whole Dexter Lumis thing. Whilst they're doing that, Keith Lee and Mia Yim walk in, and Keith Lee is eyeing up Adam Cole's NXT title. They say this isn't the day for this, and they all take their leave, with Cole shouting, "In your dreams, big man!" We'll just put a little pin in that. We're coming back to that. And this rolls neatly into our opening match of the night. Mixed doubles. Keith Lee and Mia Yim versus Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. We see some symmetrical shoeing to start off with as LeRae and Gargano both go for Hurricane Ranas, both get them counted into powerbomb type things, and then we see a super collider. Old authors of pain. Little nod to you guys. We see loads of intergender stuff here, more so than we normally do. Like, we see a lot of interaction between them, including Candice LeRae raking the eyes of Keith Lee, and with the help of a kick from Johnny Gargano, hitting a DDT on Keith Lee that looked really cool. Mia Yim goes wild at one point, battering everybody. She hits a couple of forearms and a big German suplex to Johnny Gargano. The end comes when Keith Lee pounces Gargano into Mia Yim, who goes flying off the apron. As Keith's checking on Yim, he leaves himself wide open for Johnny Gargano to recover, hit the final beat, that springboard apron DDT, but Candice LeRae is lying on the canvas beneath Keith Lee. So what is meant to be the final beat turns into a big splash from Keith Lee, crushing LeRae. Keith stands up and looks like he's about to cry, and Candice LeRae is just limp. He picks her up, and you can just tell he's devastated by what he's just done. Gargano quickly scoops in with a roll up. 1, 2, 3. Gargano steals the win. He and LeRae head up the ramp, but LeRae is still out of it. So Johnny's holding her up and raising her arm for her, you know, Weekend at Bernie's style. B+ to start NXT this week. Really strong match, and I loved how much intergender stuff we had going on here. It felt really fresh. Cameron Grimes is backstage, running down Damian Priest because he couldn't get the job done against Finn Balor at TakeOver in Your House. Something that Cameron Grimes is going to do for the second time tonight. Priest overhears this. Grimes backtracks. Priest clocks him in the jaw. Very nice. After a recap of Io Shirai's big takeover win, it's Indus Sher clattering Mikey Delbrey and Mike Reed. This is just a very quick battering that ends with the old demolition special for the 1, 2, 3. Giving it a C. It's fine. There was nothing terrible about it. It was a reminder of just how devastating Indus Sher are. Keep them on the back burner, because I feel like there's going to be big things for them down the road with NXT. Referee Drake Younger is on the iPad chatting to William Regal. Drake is passing on the message that Grimes is claiming his jaw's broken and he can't wrestle tonight. Regal insists that Drake take him to Cameron Grimes. So Drake is carrying the iPad with Regal's face on. It's a bit like Krang from the Turtles cartoon. We find Cameron Grimes backstage chatting up to women, clearly not with a broken jaw. He dismisses Drake Younger until he realises that William Regal's on a video call in Drake Younger's hands, to which Grimes immediately starts feigning a broken jaw. Regal's not having it. The match is still happening tonight. He tells him to go and get ready. Grimes is great here. Like, Grimes is this smarmy, very old school chicken heel. Is perfect. We get a video hyping the #1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team titles, Breezango. Now, we're reminded that Fandango's debut for the WWE was at WrestleMania, and we're reminded that Tyler Breeze has competed in some amazing NXT matches, including one against Jushin Liger. They talk about how they became the punchline on SmackDown and how they're here to have fun on NXT, but they're here to do the work. They promise that when they face Imperium, they're going to be entertaining until the first bell, and by the second bell, they're going to be tag team champions. Nice choice of words there. We're getting the match next week. It's going to be Imperium defending against a Breezango. I genuinely thought Britain Brawlers were next in line for a tag title shot, but I feel like that is still something that will happen down the way. After a recap of Ciampa and Cross, Rhea Ripley's being interviewed backstage, but she's interrupted by a dishevelled Robert Stone, who is pitching to become her manager and bring Ripley into the Robert Stone brand. Ripley says there's a 1,000,000 chance of that happening, to which Robert says, so there's a chance. Ripley ushers Robert Stone over, thinking maybe a deal's about to go down. Well, not so much a deal, more a punch in the gut and a slam on a table from Ripley, who looked badass here, just wiping out Robert Stone. I want to see Robert Stone just approaching everybody and getting a shoe-in for the next couple of weeks. Cameron Grimes and Finn Balor next, a close match between these two. What I've noticed in this match is the first time I noticed it tonight, is how lively the crowd really are. When Balor was on offense and he was going through some of his signature moves, they were loud and they were banging on that plexiglass like it was going out of fashion, and it felt tribal. It felt like a big deal as Balor was going through the moves and the crowd were getting louder and the banging was getting louder. It looked really great. Grimes looked great here too. Grimes had an answer to both the coup de grace and the 1916 and got almost a victory after roll-ups from both. However, tonight Balor won't be denied. We see the coup de grace, the 1916 for the 1, 2, 3. And now the commentators, Morrow in particular, talks about how this is now one apiece between Balor and Grimes. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're getting a rubber match to come from these guys. Something big, maybe a 2 out of 3 falls match to polish it off. But then Finn Balor looks straight down the lens of the camera and says that of all the belts he's won, he's never won the North American Championship, and tells Keith Lee when he's done playing house to come and see him. So Balor's setting his eyes on the NXT North American Championship. Now, I'm not sad about that. I think Balor and Lee could have a phenomenal match. It seems a shame to push Grimes to one side. Nevertheless, this match was a B+. These two have such a beautiful chemistry together. And Grimes looked solid. Like, Grimes comes away from this loss looking better than ever because he was one that managed to have an answer to everything almost that Balor had, with the exception of the finish. I'm loving Grimes. Loads more of Grimes, please. Kacy Catanzaro takes on Dakota Kai next. Kai isn't taking the smaller Kacy Catanzaro seriously, but Kacy fires up from this. She hits a beautiful Tope Atomico, a Hurricane Rana to the outside, and a senton leg drop. Now, whilst the actual execution still looks a little bit work in progress, I love Kacy Catanzaro's moveset. Like, oh, she's going to be a dream to play as if she gets the nod for 2K22. Oh, my days. Despite the fire from Kacy, it's not her night. She runs into a kick from Dakota Kai, followed up with the GTK for the 1, 2, 3. Dakota Kai then stares down the lens of the camera a la Finn Balor and tells Io Shirai that she's coming for the Women's Championship. We then see a shoe-in from Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I've now used my full quota of the word shoe-in. I have to change that for the rest of Graded. But out comes Kaden Carter to make the save for her tag partner, and she gets beaten up as well. Dropped with that big one-arm powerbomb from Raquel Gonzalez. This was a C. It was fine. It wasn't the neatest of matches. As I say, there's lots of great work in progress. Moves from Catanzaro just didn't feel very fluid. But it was fine. Like, nothing terrible. It was fine. So with Dakota Kai calling out Io Shirai, does that mean that's it for Charlotte Flair in NXT now? Is that it? Charlotte Flair, the equivalent of a family member that comes over at Christmas, eats 3/4 of the food, drinks 5 bottles of wine and doesn't even buy you a gift voucher. Is that what's happened here with Charlotte Flair in NXT? We cut to footage of Tim Thatcher's Thatch Can Wrestling Training School. Tim Thatcher tells everybody to grab a liability waiver and leave the tears at home. The training starts next week. Oh, this plays into Thatcher's wheelhouse. This is gonna be fun. Out comes El Hijo del Fantasma next, the new Cruiserweight champion. Before he can speak, Drake Maverick makes his way out. He's got new music, which I'm a bit sad about. I like Drake's ha-ha, yeah music. That's gone now. We got something a bit generic. Okay. Drake congratulates Fantasma and asks for a shot of the title, and Fantasma agrees. They shake hands, and here come the masked men circling the ring, and Drake and Hijo del Fantasma are ready to fight them off, and whoa, what's this? Fantasma's just hit Drake Maverick. Now all three of them are beating up Drake Maverick. It was a setup all along. The masked men unmask as Raul Mendoza and Whackin' Wild. Shortly after this, Fantasma takes his mask off and introduces us all to Santos Escobar, the Cruiserweight champion, and nobody can touch me. And then we see Mendoza and Wild come off the top and double splash Drake Maverick on the ground. And these three just stand tall. Oh man. Giving this an A-, this was beautifully executed. And I know that a lot of people have said, oh, it's obvious it's going to be Fantasma at the end. It's obvious it's going to be Fantasma. And yeah, it kind of was. Maybe now you think about it. But you know what? Just because something's obvious doesn't mean it shouldn't be what happens. I like the fact that it's Fantasma with this new gimmick that now leads this army. It's kind of like a Disciples thing that Seth Rollins is doing, but with it's almost like now you're going to see this guy as like the gatekeeper of the Cruiserweight title. And he's got these heavies and nobody, and whether they enact the whole nobody can touch me thing. So every time anybody comes for him, you've got Mendoza and Wild barreling in. I'm really intrigued by this. I enjoyed the segment, I enjoyed the reveal. It's main event o'clock and it's Dexter Lumis and Adam Cole going one-on-one. Before the match, Roderick Strong finds a picture that Dexter Lumis drew of all three of them wiped out, and it's once again put the fear up him. He also sees that Dexter Lumis is staring at him through the door and he runs off terrified. Rod is playing a blinder this week. Cole is trying to figure out Lumis, but Lumis just keeps coming at him with slow, strong, slithery offense. Cole gets a kick on the apron that takes control before and after the break. All the while, Cole is shouting at Lumis, calling him a freak and a weirdo, and at one point he's just punching him in the face, and Lumis is firing up from this, asking Cole to keep hitting him, and he keeps hitting him, and you just see Lumis come to life and the crowd come to life with him. And then Lumis runs wild on Cole with fists of fury and a bulldog and a German suplex. Again, really simple offense from Lumis. That's the trick with Dexter Lumis, is that there's no audience interaction, there's no like high flying moves. It's all very straightforward. Cole goes for a Panama Sunrise and we see Lumis turn it into a Katagatame, locks it in nice and tight. He's swinging him around the ring. Bobby's distracting the referee and Roddy's on the apron and he hits a kick to the back of the head of Lumis that breaks the hold and allows Cole to hit the last shot for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, the UE make their leave, but then Cole decides to go back and just get in the face of Lumis a bit more, which ends up with him back in the Katagatame until the lads swoop in and stop it. Velveteen Dream makes the save, and then we see Lumis and Dream chase off Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, leaving Adam Cole standing alone in the ring to boos from the crowd. And then the lights go out, and then Scarlett appears, and she makes her way slowly down to the ring as the crowd are chanting, "Fall and pray, fall and pray." She has her hands behind her back and she reveals an hourglass. And she turns it round and the sands of time start ticking. And the crowd start chanting tick, tock, tick, tock. And they're banging on the plexiglass. They're banging and banging and banging on the plexiglass. The last shot we see for NXT this week is Adam Cole staring at this hourglass that has been left. A clear message from Karrion Kross as the crowd are banging on the plexiglass. Giving this an A-. In terms of the match, it was the best that Dexter Lumis has had to date. I think his style still needs tweaking. It's a tough one because you've got this guy who is very much a babyface, but he's acting completely un-babyface-like. You can't give him any flash moves because that's not his style, so you're trying to develop this character using a very basic moveset. So it's a challenge, but there's some good that's come of it compared to where we started. There's certainly been some adjustments. There's more fine-tuning to do before we get there, but this was his best match to date. I put that down to his dance partner Adam Cole as well. Adam Cole is phenomenal, and the closing bit with the hourglass setting up Kross versus Cole down the road. Oh, this is what NXT does so well. When the production stuff is good, not looking at you, Backlot Brawl, but when the production is good, it's great, and this just really sold me on the idea of Karrion Kross versus Adam Cole at a future show. This was a really, really cool finish. NXT this week for me was a B. There were some really good matches in there this week, and a lot that was elevated by the banging of plexiglass, and some really fresh matches made as well to look forward to. Keith Lee and Finn Balor is going to be a thing that happens. Dakota Kai and Io Shirai is going to be a thing that happens. Adam Cole and Karrion Kross, colour me intrigued. Colour me very intrigued. Bang, bang, bang. Stay safe. Love you, bye.